Go ahead.
Hello, welcome back to Cooking with Dad and Em. I am Gabriel. Happy Tuesday. So we are going to be cooking something special today. So let's get started.
I don't know about special, but I mean it's special to us. I mean, because well, it's us. Okay, so hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I wasn't able to do a video yesterday because I had plans. Something came up, and we went to go celebrate a birthday, and that's what that was. We just went out to go eat dinner. Me, the kids, and my ex and her family, we all went to go eat and had a good time. But now we're back. Should be back on our regularly scheduled programming. Cheers. So anyway, what we got going on, I've done this one before, but we're doing it again. We're doing a Margherita pizza. Now, I'm saying Margherita, and I don't mean Margherita like the drink. I mean a pizza with the Margherita style, Italian style pizza, whatever you want to call it. Let me explain. Let me show ya. So as you can see, this is just the pizza right here, and there's not a whole lot that goes on this thing. So you're going to have your tomato sauce, you're going to have your mozzarella cheese spread out, you're going to have your basil, plus you're going to have a little bit of other stuff on there too. You're going to have some garlic, salt, pepper, a little bit of parmesan, and just a tad bit of veggie oil or whatever oil. So this is basically just going over all of the ingredients of everything right here, the pictures anyway. And this is what it should look like before you throw it in the oven. So as you can see, you got the chunks of the mozzarella here, and you're not shredding the mozzarella. You're not shredding it. You're not using a shredded mozzarella cheese. You're just cutting up a block of mozzarella cheese into chunks. Like so. Chunks of mozzarella. That's all it is. As you can see, you got the chunks of mozzarella there, you got the sauce spread out, and then you got the basil leaves thrown on top as well. And again, this is what it should look like when it's done. There you go. So let's get to it and show you how to make it. Okay, now a good chunk of the recipe here on this thing shows how to make the dough. So I'm going to be skipping over a lot of stuff with this thing because I already made the dough. I already have, oops, don't need that. I already have 2 pizza doughs ready to go. Boom and boom, right there. All we have to do is just assemble the pizza, which shouldn't take very long. Okay. So, all right, again, you're going to have some parts of the instructions here, how to make the pizza dough. We will go over that if you're going to go this route. So you're going to need roughly about 2.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon of sugar, a half a teaspoon of yeast, a 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 7 ounces of warm water, a 3/4 cup, roughly a cup of warm water, a tablespoon of olive oil or oil, and then some extra flour for the pizza peel, if you're going that route with the pizza peel, which I'm not. And then that was for the dough itself. Now you're getting to the pizza topping itself. Now you're going to use a cup of pureed or crushed San Marzano or Italian plum canned tomatoes. I didn't use those that they recommended. I just used some cherry tomatoes. And I've used these before. These work just fine. It's all depending on how you puree them, how you run them through the processor. 2 to 3 fresh garlic cloves, a teaspoon of oil for drizzling, plus more for drizzling, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 2 pinches of salt, 2 to 3 pinches of salt, 2 to 3 tablespoons of parmesan, plus more for serving, 7 ounces of fresh mozzarella cut into 1/2-inch cubes, preferably fresh, not packed in water. Okay. As you can see, I have my mozzarella already cut up in cubes, ready to go. Again. 5 to 6 large fresh basil leaves plus more for garnishing, and then crushed dried red pepper flakes, which are optional. Now, as far as the basil goes, I have my basil already here, chopped up and ready to go. You can chop it up to however you want. I mean, if this is, I'm going to take a look at this as I'm spreading it out. I may decide to tear it up a little bit more, but this is what you were looking for right there. And this stuff smells really good, by the way. Okay, now I'm going to skip some of these steps here because all of this stuff shows how to make the dough, and I already made the dough. But if you want to read through this, go ahead and take a look at the recipe, which I will attach later on. So you're preparing the pizza dough, and it's all bold print right there. Preheat oven and the pizza stone. We're not going that route, so we're just going to go ahead and skip down to step 7. Right there, and we're going to assemble the pizza. Sprinkle the pizza peel with the back of a baking sheet. We're not going that route, again, because we're not using a pizza peel. We're just using regular pizza pans. If you have a pizza peel, then you can do this stuff, but we're just going to skip right on to step 8. Drizzle or brush the dough lightly with the olive oil. Okay, so we're going to use our little brush here. And all we're doing with the oil is we're just greasing up the surface of the pizza a little bit so the ingredients, not too greasy. Just gonna spread it out a little bit. You're just trying to wet the surface of the pizza a little bit. That's all. Just brush it like so. Okay, there's that one. Move that one over there, please. Okay, so that was one. I'll go ahead and spread some more out. Okay, just try to get as much as you can. You're probably only going to need maybe about a couple of teaspoons. Hello, Randy. Excuse me. You're only going to need about a couple of tablespoons, depending on how much pizzas you're making. If you're making one pizza, 1 tablespoon will be just fine. If you're making 2, I would recommend going 2 tablespoons just to be on the safe side. Okay, so we've got that stuff done. On to the next step. Still on step 8, using a large spoon, add roughly half a cup of the tomato sauce onto the pizza dough, leaving a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch border on all sides. So, what I have here is I have my cherry tomatoes already run through a food processor and mashed up pretty good. Run through made some sauce for this. Okay, so we're going to take that. What we're going to do is we're going to spread it out. Spread it out and not all the way to the edge. We're going to leave just a little bit off of the edge. So just probably like maybe about a 1/2 inch. So try to go as far as you can to the edge, and then we'll use more sauce too. Spread it all over on the outside too. It's good, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit more just to try to get some more sauce here in the middle. And that's pretty much what you're trying to do. You're just trying to get the surface of the pizza crust covered, but not all the way to the edges. Just leave a little bit off of the edges. So that's one pizza, and now we're going to go ahead and spread the rest of this stuff out on this one. Go ahead and help me spread this one. And the yeast is already making this pizza dough poof up a little bit, so this one's going to be a little bit of a thicker crust. Okay, so we have our sauce pretty much spread out, just a little bit shy of the edge of the crust here. So we have our tomatoes. Could probably spread some out a little more here, right there, just like that. Okay, so we have our pizzas ready to go. We have our sauces on there. Next step. Okay, so use the back of the spoon to spread it evenly and thinly. Sprinkle a tablespoon of the Parmesan Reggiano cheese. We're just using the Parmesan cheese. So we're going to sprinkle just a little bit onto the sauce. So we're going to take our Parmesan cheese. Yeah, bro. Hey, borrow you. I can't open this. Try and do that one-handed. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to take our Parmesan and get roughly about a tablespoon or so. And then very easily just spread it out like so. It doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to cover the entire surface of the pizza sauce. You're just trying to get some across the surface here. So you have some of the goodness of the Parmesan spread out all over the place. So we got that one. Now we're going to work on this one.
Want me to hold it?
Yeah, hold that, please. Thank you. Closer, a little closer. Okay, so again, just spreading it out. That's all. If this were a different kind of pizza other than the Margherita, then you would cover the entire surface of the pizza with mozzarella, but that's not what we're doing. Okay, go ahead and seal that up. We're done with that one. Okay, again, with the Parmesan, you're not trying to cover the whole thing. You're just trying to get a little bit of it spread out, and then you're going to finish the rest of it. Okay, right there. Add half of the cubed mozzarella, distributing evenly over the entire pizza. Okay, so we have our mozzarella spread out into two sections. We're going to use one for one pizza, one for the other pizza. So it says spread half onto it. Now just kind of space it out as much as you like so. And don't worry, we're probably going to use the rest of the mozzarella here in a little bit. Okay, so add half of the cubed mozzarella, distributing it evenly over the entire pizza. Using your hands, tear a few large basil leaves and sprinkle the basil over the pizza. Okay, so I already have my basil all cut up, ready to go. So I'm going to take half of this stuff, and I'm going to sprinkle half of this on one pizza here. And then just kind of tear it up a little bit into smaller pieces. Just like so. And then just spread it evenly out. Again, you're not trying to cover the entire surface of the pizza. You're just trying to get a good coverage of it. Okay, so that was that. Now we're going to go ahead and work on the other one. Okay, so we're taking half of the mozzarella that we have here, spreading it out. Uh-oh, making messes. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect how you spread it out. You can just go as much as you want. It's Jane and Tatum's mom right there.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so we got our mozzarella spread out on here. Oh, Jennifer, if you're still watching, Gabriel says hi.
Hi.
Okay, so we're gonna spread out the basil again on this one.
I thought I saw a little bit of cheese under the tomato puree, but that's just part of
The crust.
yeah.
Okay, the dough. Okay, so using your hands, tear a few large basil leaves, sprinkle the basil over the pizza. At this point, I'll stretch the sides of the dough out a bit to the edge to make it thinner. Gently slide the pizza from the peel onto the baking stone, blah, blah, blah. Remove the pizza. Okay, you know what? I don't know why it says use half of the cheese. So I still have a lot of this cheese left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more on there. Because I'm going to have a bunch of this stuff left over cubed and it doesn't say anything on what to do with the rest of it. So we're just going to sprinkle some more and spread it out some more. And then whatever I don't use, you will save for later on this week what I'm using the mozzarella for. Duh. Or maybe I'm just not reading everything all the way through. Okay. All right, excuse me, I'm just trying to read something here. All right, well, that's pretty much it. So the garlic. The hell did I need the garlic for? Okay, well, it doesn't say anything about what to do with the garlic here, so I don't even think the garlic was necessary. All right, then, so skip the garlic. All right, so we've got our pizzas already assembled and ready to go. As you can see, that's pretty much all we need to do. Come back up here and step 4. You're preheating your oven. If you can set it to 550, set your oven to 550 to preheat it. If it can't go any higher than 500, which, as you can see, mine doesn't go any higher than 500, that's fine. That will work just fine. Okay, so you have your oven preheated to 550 or 500 or however high it'll go. It even says, if it can't heat to higher than 550 Fahrenheit, even better. But I can't even get it to heat up to 550, so hell with it. Okay, scrolling down here. Right here. At this point, I'll occasionally stretch the sides of the dough out a bit to make it even thinner. Slide the pizza from the pizza peel onto the heated baking stone. That's if you're going with the pizza stone. We're not going that route, so we will skip that. Bake for 7 to 8 minutes or until the crust is golden and the cheese is bubbling and caramelized and the edges of the pizza are golden brown. And then remove the pizza carefully with the pizza peel to a cutting board, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's pretty much it. So all we have left to do now is we're going to stick these pizzas in the oven. We're going to leave them for maybe about between 8 to 10 minutes just to see. Okay, so those are ready to go. They're gonna go cook time 8 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna set the cook time for these things at 8 minutes, and we're gonna check it at the 8-minute mark. And once we have the thing go off, we're gonna see if the crust is golden on the edges, and then how melted the cheese is. And then once that, that's your gauge on how done the pizza is. You're just looking for your pizza to come out looking like this. So as you can see, this is what you want your pizza to look like. You want your cheese to be melted, and as it melts, it's just spreading out all over the place. So it's almost like it's pretty much spreading out and then covering the rest of the pizza. And this is what it's supposed to look like before and then after. Again, you're not looking to cover the whole pizza in cheese and sauce. I mean, you're not looking to cover the whole pizza in the cheese. You're just spreading it out. And if you guys have not had a Margherita pizza, go to Scalo's. What's that one place downtown? by university. Shit, I can't think of the name of it. Saggio's. You could probably get you a good margarita pizza at Saggio's too. But, I mean, if you guys haven't tried it, try it. There's nothing complicated about it. You're not looking for a whole lot of toppings, just the sauce, the cheese, and the basil, and that is it. I mean, if you want, you can add some crushed red pepper to it as well, and a little extra parmesan. But, I mean, I recommend it. Try it. Try yourself a margarita, because this stuff is really good. Excuse me. So I didn't even need the damn garlic. I don't know why I got it out. All right, then. So we still got just under 6 minutes left on the cook time. I could just sit here and bullshit for another 5 minutes while this thing is cooking, but why not? Why not? Okay. Let me show you something here. Now, although the recipe for this thing shows how to make good pizza dough for the margherita pizza, or for the margherita pizza dough, I have another go-to pizza dough that I've been using for most of my stuff here. I can attach the link for the pizza dough if you guys want, which I probably will. It's very easy to make. I recommend, if you guys are making pizzas, I recommend making your own pizza dough, because sometimes the pizza dough that you guys get, the pizza crust that you guys get that are already pre-made and packaged, I mean, you don't know what you're getting. And if you use your own flour, salt, sugar, oil, and water, and yeast, you got the comfort knowing that you made it with your own hands. I mean, since I started making pizza, I've done it no other way with my own hands. And aside from, I think, one time, my pizzas came out really good. I mean, I had one pizza, the pizza dough, that came out looking like the size of a cake, because it was like super thick, really, really thick. But it's good. So, again, here is the link for the pizza dough recipe that I've done. 10-minute pizza dough, and it just shows how to make your own pizza dough here. Scroll down, 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 down. Okay, so basically what you're going to need for your own pizza dough, you're going to need roughly about 3/4 cup or a cup of warm water, a teaspoon of active dry yeast. Let me show you what the yeast packaging is going to look like. Okay, now the pizza crust yeast, this is what you're looking for this. This stuff works really good for pizzas. You're going to find this in your baking aisle. Just look where you find the rest of the yeast, and you're going to see these things in little packages like this. Each of these things comes with about 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. You can use the whole package of one of these for a whole pizza, or if you only need a teaspoon of yeast, you can use half for one pizza, half for the other pizza. But these are what you're looking for. These usually come in packages of 3. So you're going to have 3 of these on your shelf. These are what you're looking for as far as the pizza crust yeast. Okay, and then 2 cups of flour plus more for the kneading in your work surfaces, a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 tablespoons of oil, and then the cornmeal is optional. The only reason why this says the cornmeal is optional is because it's recommended, if you're using a pizza stone, to use cornmeal. Now, I haven't used a pizza stone before, so I don't know anything about that, but these are pretty much what you're going to need on how to make your own pizza dough, and the instructions are as follows. I will attach the link for this recipe, and I will show you. This thing is very simple to follow. The instructions are very easy. Okay, step 1 of this thing is if you have a pizza stone. So if you don't have a pizza stone, just skip this one. So you're going to get your water in a bowl, add the yeast, and let it sit for a bit until it's looking foamy. Add the flour, sugar, salt, and olive oil, and combine it. Get your clean work surface, pour some flour on it, and knead the dough on that work surface, and mixing up any dry bits on the bottom of the bowl into your lump of dough. Place the dough back in the bowl and cover it with the kitchen towel. Put the bowl on top of the stove, blah, blah, blah. While you wait for the dough, get your pizza toppings ready. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the instructions are pretty self-explanatory. But what I did with mine is I just mixed everything all together. I mixed the yeast, flour, sugar, salt, and the oil, and then poured the water on top of it, and then just massaged the hell out of that. And then sprinkled some flour on my countertop, and then just massaged it, kneaded it out until it got nice and dry. Not completely dry, but you don't want it to be sticky to your fingers. And you don't want it to stick to your countertop, and you don't want it to stick to your rolling pin either. So once you get it to the point where it's not sticking to your countertop, your hands, or the rolling pin, then you're fine. Here we cut. We're coming up on 30 seconds now, so I guess that was a good way to fill time. So, while we wait for this to tick off, let me get my ish ready here. And I will show you guys what this thing comes out looking like. 3, 2, 1, bam. Let's see. Alrighty then. Ew, wait, doesn't that look delish? Okay, again, what you're looking for is you're just looking to get the nice little golden brown color on the edge of the pizza crust, which is what we've got. And this one was a little bit thinner, and I think we are done here. Oh, yes. Again, being that with the extra cheese that I put on top of it, it pretty much melted, flattened out, and spread out all across. But, I mean, you got the basil here on top. You can sprinkle a little more parmesan on top. If you want, you can throw a little bit of red pepper flakes. But we are done. Doesn't that look good? Doesn't that look good? This crust, I made this crust a little bit thinner. This one's going to be a little bit thicker, but still, these things look good, and trust me, the Margherita pizza tastes really good. If you haven't, go to Scalo, go to the hell is that other one? Il Vicino. I'm sure you could probably get some at Il Vicino, and then Saggio's too. Any place that has a good brick oven, feel for it. Yes. Or you can make it yourself, which I just did. So, again, let me give you one more look at it. This is your Margherita pizza. You got your tomato sauce as the base. You got some Parmesan cheese, which was on top of that. The mozzarella, which is all this cheese here. And then you got the basil leaves. That was it. The hardest part about all this was getting the dough ready, and that wasn't even that hard to do. So, I will attach a link for the recipe for the Margherita pizza and the link for the pizza dough, the quick and easy pizza dough, so that way you guys have a good way to do the pizza dough. But tomorrow is Wednesday. Trying to figure out what we're going to do tomorrow. So anyway, either way, I got something good going on for tomorrow. We will get that going. But until then, we are going to chat on this. I'm going to let this cool down, but we are going to eat. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. Leave a comment in any of these posts. Most of you guys already know who I am personally, so shoot me a message there. That's it. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow.